Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of CNC Productions, and today we are going to be drawing the Baryonyx. Now, this was suggested to me by a fan, NatureGamer29, who saw my Baryonyx vs. Neovenator claymation battle. So, without further ado, we're going to be getting to draw. Now, if you want to learn how to draw any other dinosaurs, I plan on making a couple more of these videos. I have a how to draw the Indominus Rex video that you can find on my channel, so if you want to learn how to draw that bad boy, just look in my video folder, and it'll be in there. I'm also probably going to be drawing some other stuff soon, so if you want to learn how to draw some dinosaurs, look back on my channel for new content. But before we get started, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Baryonyx. Now, this was a 30-foot long Spinosaurid, same family as the Spinosaurus, that was discovered in England. It really shaped the way that we thought about Spinosaurs, because most Spinosaurus included, didn't really have very many fossils, because Spinosaurus itself, we know now that it had the crocodile-like jaw, like Baryonyx, because that jaw was found in 2008. But beforehand, we thought that Spinosaurus had like a T-Rex sort of shaped skull. I mean, now we know better because of fossils, but Baryonyx really shaped the way we thought of Spinosaurs. And it was also the first one that was ever discovered. Now, the name Baryonyx means heavy claw due to a gigantic claw on its hands. It had one huge claw on each of its hands that it probably used to hook fish, sort of like a heron, except it would drag it up with its claws. And while Spinosaurus had this same claw, Baryonyx had the biggest, and that was one of its main features. Now, there's also some debate about whether or not Baryonyx is the same thing as Suchomimus, which it could be, but there is some controversy regarding that, because Suchomimus lived in Africa, and Baryonyx lived in England, two completely different parts of the world. Plus, Suchomimus didn't have as big of a giant heavy claw as the Baryonyx did. The jury's still out, but right now, we're just going to call it Baryonyx. And without any further ado, let's get to drawing. Okay, now we're going to start with the head. Now, this is the one thing about this drawing that you have to get right, is the head. If you get it right, you'll be okay. Okay, now first, we're going to get started on the head. Whoops. As I said in the Indominus Indominus Rex how to draw video, I don't sketch. It's just a thing. I just don't. I taught myself how to just use heavy, thick lines, and that's just what I'm used to. Now here we can make the jaw a little thinner. That's the thing with Spinosaurs. You want to make the jaw look really thin. The thinner the better. Because if it's thin, it's more scientifically accurate. Draw some teeth. Now the teeth at the front of the jaw are large. And the further back you get, they get a little smaller. Okay. Now, Spinosaurs, Baryonyx included, had little, like, small, like, almost like sensors where they would have been able to sense now. So put those, like, at the tip of the jaw, because the Spinosaurus nostrils were all the way up there. The hole in the skull, which all Spinosaurs and most big theropods had. Another thing that most Spinosaurs had was, like, a little crest. So you can just add that right there. The neck. Spinosaurs also had like S-shaped necks that were a little long, not too long, but you know, longer than like a T-Rex's per se. And a huge, heavy claw. I'm going to erase that real quick. There, just reshape the hand because And that is the one downside with drawing heavy lines, is that I can't erase it all that well, but you know, I can't sketch. You can comment saying, hey dude, why don't you sketch? I can't, it's just a thing. But anyway, remember to draw the big heavy claw. And just to draw some hand scales and also elongate the fingers, gives it a more realistic look. And do it to this hand too, add some muscle. Anywhere you can add detail, do it, because that'll make the drawing look better. And draw it back. There's a leg, and the other leg. And there. Now the body, we could actually probably beef up a little bit, give it a little bit of an extra. And then to draw the tail, real simple. That's it, just that small little swoosh there. There, that's the main outline of the Baryonyx. That's what it'll look like. So there's the head. Now we're going to add a little bit, just regular body details. Because now this is all you need. Now that's done. You have your Baryonyx. I mean, heck, if you really wanted to, you could pass it off like this. But we're going to add some extra detail. Now up here, all you really need to do with the head here, I always like to add that scale. This looks interesting. Really don't need to add much here. Actually, we could probably add like a little bit of like a throat pouch or something. Like a pelican. Not saying that it had it, but you know, did eat fish. Add some spice. Whoop. I'm telling you, I draw way too hard. There. Okay. Over here. Do like a vein or a muscle running through. And then the legs, you want to make sure that it has like a lot of muscle. Make it look convincing. Just keep adding more detail. Because like I said, the more detail you have in your drawing, the better it'll look. Okay, add ribs. Oh my gosh. It is a bad habit, and I probably don't need to pronounce when we add on the final touch. That's sort of like where its spinal cord is. Like it's like raised up a little bit. Like if you can picture this as like being like on the side of an animal, that's protruding out a little bit, and that's like sort of like going in, like narrowing into the animal. Except Baryonyx and all the other Spinosaurs are different, and I'm thinking you need a lot. And I'll get to that in a minute. For the tail, you don't really need to add much detail. Just a big muscle in the middle, and just, you know, that general stuff will do. The Baryonyx is filled in. Alright, and now we're going to add the final touch. Now, a lot of people don't think Baryonyx did have a sail, and it really didn't. It was more or less like a small ridge along its back, but it did have one. Beginning to look like the Suchomimus from Carnivore Cityscape. And now, that is done, the actual drawing part. There it is, there's your Baryonyx. But it's not colored in yet. And before, I'm just going to cut this real quick and as I choose the colors, and I'll be right back. Now before I color it in, I just want to say, if you don't want to color it in the way that I color it, that's completely fine. You can color it in any way you want. We don't know what colors dinosaurs were, so whatever you choose is fine, because we don't know. Hang on a second, guys. I'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, now we're going to show you how to draw, or how, at least how I am going to color in this Baryonyx. Now first, here are the colors that you'll need for my particular color scheme, and as I said before, you don't have to color it in like that. If you don't want to, that's completely fine. There is no right or wrong way to color in a dinosaur. You'll need pink, red, green, like a medium green, not like light green or pine green, just a medium green, orange, like a bright carrot orange will do, and black. And that's all you'll need. Now red, we're going to do all these colors in this section. Red. Oh, sorry about that, my camera just all of a sudden brightened up. Red for the eyes, and this little part will probably have been full of like blood vessels and such, so that can be made red. And this little crest up here, I'm going to color red. And yeah, that's all that you'll need for red. You really don't need it for much. Now pink is the color that you need in every single theropod, in which you can see that little muscle. Humans have it too, except it's our cheeks. That's what that is. It's basically like its cheek. Like if you open your mouth, and there's your cheeks are basically like the muscle beside your mouth. That's what that is, except it was pink, like exposed muscle. Okay, so that was that. Now for black. Black you're gonna need a lot of. And like I said, for those of you who play Jurassic World, the game, you'll probably recognize this color scheme. In fact, you might even recognize it by now. I'm sure you're like, oh, I know what he's doing. Yeah, that's stripes. Okay, there are the stripes. Now, stripes are pretty much like a universal color or decoration for dinosaurs because they look awesome. Like this. Just gonna draw a little stripe along the eye, which just ups the cool factor. As I said before, you do not need to color it in like this, but if you're liking the way that this is going, feel free. But you can honestly, well, you know, I even said in the Indominus video, color it any way you want to. Even though Indominus was white in the movie, it could camouflage, right? And now, set those aside, get the green, and color the inside of the stripes green. Now along the fin, just color all of the fin green. You know, it makes it stand out because the main body I'm going to be coloring orange, but we want the sail or the fin or whatever you want to say to stand out, so we're just going to color it all green. They did that in the game too, which Dinosaur I'm sure you probably have recognized by now. If you play the game and if you know what it is. I love Jurassic World, the game. Anyway, enough about that. Just keep coloring in that inside, and there you go. That's all you'll need green for. There's also another color that you'll need, but it won't come up, but it's white. Actually, thinking about it, I'm gonna color a little throat sack green. There. And this is when you will need orange. Come on, you know what dinosaur I'm copying this off of, right? Alright, if you're watching this, leave in the comments below what dinosaur I'm copying this off of. But it works, that's why I'm copying it. And there you go. Last step. Draw the claws black. Okay then. Now, there you are. You're finished. Baryonyx. And for those of you who want to be scientifically correct, Baryonyx, you're finished. Baryonyx Walkeri. Which, by the way, is the person who discovered it, William Walker. Fossil legend. Now, as I said before, you do not have to color it in like this. If you want to color it in different, you let your imagination run wild. I really would like to see it. But, yeah, leave in the comments box below if you have any other suggestions. Special thanks to NatureGamer29 again for the suggestion. And I'll see you guys later.